2025 is going to be massive for Ripple and XRP. I'm recording this video on December 20th, 2024, as the markets are in the red, stock market, crypto market. And if you're new to these markets, it does not feel good. The volatility is the gift. Write that down. The volatility is the gift. And if you can start to understand that at a deep level, that the volatility is the gift, and understand that everything is just a wave of energy, try to find something in nature that's in an exact straight line. Everything has a wave to it. So if you can start to understand the actual waves of energy and how it works and how they manipulate these markets, panic selling you on the way down, buying the dip, and then they buy the bottom and we sell on the way up. Very, very, very simple strategies, but it takes stoicism. It takes being very calm. It takes understanding that this must have a long-term lens. Bull run number one, you're learning. You're learning, getting your bumps and bruises, figuring out, first of all, you're very early. Bull run number two, which is going to be, I think, 28 through 2030, 2028 through 2030. That's your wealth. Bull run number three, now you got your legs underneath you. You got your ecosystem built inside and outside of crypto, is now you're starting to build generational wealth. What we are doing right now is we're taking sovereignty of our wealth. That's what decentralization is. And that's why they don't want it. You and I are finally saying enough is enough. I want to control my own banking. I want to control my own money. I'm going to start saving, then spending versus spending, then saving. I'm going to stop trading time for money, and I'm going to use my money to free up time. What I'm here to tell you is after the next 6 years, this will be absolutely unrecognizable. So think about that for just a moment. I want to make this very simple. My average age group is 35 to 70 watching this, okay? Here's how simple it is. You're either going to be on the consumer side of all this technology or the investor side. Which side do you think is going to hold the wealth? There's going to be extremely wealthy and the working class. That's it. There's going to be no middle class. The middle class is actually a new concept. Think about that for just a moment. The middle class is getting wiped out, leveraged towards technology, moving down to the working poor. Okay, we're heading into a golden era. Trump is going to bring in innovation, make America the crypto capital of the world, Bitcoin mining. Okay, so that's all my opinion. And I'm only speaking from what I'm doing, but let's break down the facts, figures, numbers, logic, so you can understand what is actually happening. So again, my age group is 35 to 70 watching this. You're still very, very early, very early. You have to build a long-term fundamental horizon. I'm not your get rich quick guy. I'm not jumping in and out of cryptos. Very fundamental portfolio. I slowly and methodically pull out on the way up, bring it down the risk pyramid. I secure, compound, and grow my wealth, create cash generating assets, and I repeat the process. So bull run number one, write this down. You're learning, you're early, you're good, you're right on time. Bull run number two, okay, after the next halving is going to be your wealth. Bull run number three is where now you got your legs underneath here. You're taking sovereignty of your wealth. You're on the investment side of it. And then you start to build the things like the Rockefeller Trust and all these things. I mean, you can do it all now, but you're good, okay? These moments right now on December 20th, 2020, like today, where the markets are absolutely red the last couple of days, this is phenomenal. Remember, the volatility is the gift. So you can stomach the volatility and you can do the opposite of the 99%, you're going to do very, very well in these markets. All right, so let's dive right in. So that's my opinion, but let's dive into the facts. Just quick warning before we go, I will never proactively DM you. Those are all scammers. That's not me in your comments. I will never invest your crypto. I do not accept monies. We don't have a trading platform. Those are all scammers, and never send anybody money talking about QFS accounts. You don't need a QFS account. Scam. Be very careful. I'll break that down a little bit deep, what we actually do on the back end of this video. Okay, so Good Morning Crypto posted this yesterday. It says, breaking, Ripple CEO states institutional adoption begins with XRP ETFs. XRP ETF represents the transition from speculative retail trading to institutional adoption. Brad Garlinghouse. Okay, let's listen to the actual video here and let's listen to Brad talk about this. And then I'll give you my opinion on how bullish I am for 2025.
There's been an influx of XRP ETF filings, both in and out of the US. How do you view all of this? How do you view these filings?
Well, I think part of the transition from maybe more speculative retail into more institutional adoption and participation is the ETF step. Certainly, the Bitcoin ETF getting approved, the SEC was dragged kicking and screaming a little bit towards that outcome. But getting the Bitcoin ETF, I think, was a monumental event in terms of expanding the ability for others to participate. Particularly institutional investors. So to me, I think I said then publicly that if people would ask me, is there going to be an XRP ETF? And I just like, look, it's inevitable that there will be an XRP ETF. And now I think I actually don't even know. I think there's 4 or 5 different filings here in the US. I know at least one in Europe. And I think it's great. I think it's, again, not surprising. I certainly hope that we'll see some of those approved soon, and we'll see them trading so others can participate in the ecosystem that otherwise might not be able to because they don't want to custody crypto themselves, or other reasons that may exist.
Okay, so it's inevitable that it's coming. Okay, what is holding it back most likely is the SEC, right? But we know Gary Gensler on January 20th, 2025 is leaving the SEC. We have a pro crypto SEC coming in, so pay attention to January 20th. We could see the Ripple case finally get settled and out of the way. An XRP ETF. Do you remember what happened going into 2024? The Bitcoin ETF got approved. It was all first quarter, guys. We're going to see some beautiful. So this stuff right now, this red all over the charts, that you should be very excited about that. You should be like, man, buy an opportunity. The volatility is the blessing. Put that somewhere. If you have a long-term horizon. Okay. So Wisdom Tree joins the other asset managers such as Bitwise, Canary Capital, 21 shares, which have already filed a spot XRP ETF. Bitwise was the first to file an XRP ETF in October, followed by Canary Capital, 21 shares in the subsequent weeks. So there's multiple people waiting for an approval. Okay. Bloomberg analysts forecast the launch of multiple cryptocurrency ETFs in 2025, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and Litecoin. Let me explain, just as if you don't know what an ETF is. So there's a difference between, so if you have the Bitcoin ETFs, which is already up and running, right? BlackRock's is the number 2 holder in the world in Bitcoin through their ETF. So an ETF means you're getting exposure to the asset. You're not owning the underlying asset, right? So if you own the BlackRock ETF, you have exposure to that asset, right? If you own the actual Satoshi of Bitcoin, you own Bitcoin. Okay, so just important to understand. Okay, so this is really interesting. This is where the narrative comes in for me. Everybody's like, where are they going to get the money to buy Bitcoin? I'm like, guys, we're the only country that can print our own money. we ideally they could print the money and buy Bitcoin. Listen to what Michael Saylor says.
And the first nation to print money, the first nation to print their own currency to buy Bitcoin wins. Right? Like, Tom, look what MicroStrategy did. We basically issue our own currency, our stock, and we buy Bitcoin. What happened? We went from $1 billion to $100 billion market cap is what happened. Is it inflation? It's only inflation if you print the currency to invest it, to make a bad investment. Right? If you print the currency to buy something that's appreciating faster than your inflation rate, it's actually accretion.
Right. So think about that. So my strategy is basically, when I get paid in the US dollar, I'm transmuting it into a deflationary asset. Right. So what he's saying is, if they print the money and they put it into Bitcoin, they're literally increasing our future. They're not taking away from our future, right? What Americans do is we trade time for money. We go buy a car through a personal, not through a business. We go buy a car, and you're taking money away from your future self, right? Remember, we actually save after we spend in America. We should be spending after we save. Okay. So this is Cynthia Loomis, right? So imagine if we started printing the money, but this is Cynthia Loomis again, talking about the Bitcoin Treasury bill.
It doesn't discourage me, because what Chairman Powell was saying is they don't have the authority now to own Bitcoin. I want to give it to them. I want our federal government to.
So think about this. Okay, so I want to give you a different perspective. Everybody's like, oh my God, Jerome Powell said they can't hold Bitcoin. They legally can't hold Bitcoin. Think about the position Jerome Powell's in right now. He said to you, the American people, America's on an unsustainable path. You got Congress coming to you and say, hey, if we print some money and buy this Bitcoin, we could fix the sovereign debt crisis. By 2045, we could, you don't think they would consider that? He said, legally, we can't hold it. It's not in our jurisdiction. But they want to give. So like everybody gets so caught up. We have to understand what is actually happening. Something has to change. So I'd love to hear what your comments are down below. What do you think needs to change? I think this was either they created it to fix the problem, or you can't beat it, join it, and they're genius. And they're like, wow, there's only 21 million Bitcoin in the world. Damn well I'm going to get access to something like that. There's 8 billion people in the world. If you own a Satoshi of it, a small piece of it, you're an elite in the population. Just really rationalize that. There's 8 billion. Somebody do the math for me in the comments down below. What would 8 billion, what would the percentage be of 21 million of 8 billion people, and then take it down to your Satoshi? Like, that's crazy, right?
Have a strategic Bitcoin reserve that can help back the US dollar as the world reserve currency, and then serve as a long-term savings account, thereby offsetting our national debt, which is over $36 trillion now.
Damn. Last time I looked, 34, now it's 36. Okay. So, I mean, do you see the puzzle pieces coming together? Do you see where it's all clicking? It's problem, reaction, solution. Okay. So let's recap what we just talked about. We got Brad Garlinghouse in the beginning talking about it's inevitable. XRP ETFs coming in. That's fantastic. The case gets dropped. New SEC chairman coming in. We got Trump coming in on January 20th. Within the first 100 days, if they do the Bitcoin treasury bill, kaboom, right? You got Michael Saylor saying, hey, we can print money and buy this. And Michael Saylor said he met with the incoming White House, would it be the people coming into the White House? They said, did you meet with Trump? He said, I cannot disclose that. And then here's his son talking about Trump's to make us the crypto capital of the world.
Was my father, and I think he realizes that every country in the world is embracing it, and people are running. I mean, look at where we are right now in Abu Dhabi. I mean, they're putting billions of dollars into crypto, into kind of digital technologies. And if we don't do it as America, we're going to be left behind. And he wants to make America the crypto capital of the world. He's been very, very clear with that, and I applaud that. I mean, listen, right now, if you live in America, you want to go out and get a home loan, it takes you 90 days. How the hell does it take you 90 days to get a home loan? By then, by the way, the house is already sold. Your dream is gone. Zero chance you're getting it. Why does it? I mean, there is nothing on blockchain that can't be done better, faster, substantially cheaper, not pushing paper. I mean, the banking system that we have around the world, the modern banking system, is antiquated.
Okay, so I just want to leave it at that. And I want to start with what he just said. The banking system is antiquated. So I'm 49 years old. I really got into technology after I left the bank in 2017. So I went to CBA Executive Banking School, and I understood the banking system from a systematic building of a bank, right? Understanding how these systems work. I understand Nostro, Vostro. That's why when I got introduced to XRP, I was like, wow, this technology is phenomenal. Holy shit. For example, I just did some buys on Robinhood, right? For some ETF thing. And there was the option to, this first time I use, I'm heavily a crypto investor. My point behind this is I set up Robinhood and I made a deposit into Robinhood from my account. Now, I didn't see the instant transfer thing with your debit card. There's fees that come with that, I believe. And then they have wire transfer, right? Which takes a full day. And then the other one I did with my bank account it's taking like 5 days. That doesn't make sense. That's the actual thing. The antiquated system is, so for example, when you order something on Amazon and you pay for it, you get your stuff really quickly, but Amazon, there's a settlement process that has to happen. Nostro Vostro has to go from account to account. It's slow, it's archaic. So to start there, when you start thinking about why you're investing in something, think, will this be here in the future? That's why I'm super bullish on Bitcoin and XRP. Those are my two largest holdings. Okay, not saying you have to do that, but the reason why, factually, from my facts, is that Bitcoin is a store of value. I am not touching it. It's going to be gold for my family. We will leverage against it in the future. Think about this. What Michael Saylor is doing, Bitcoin, profits, pulls equity, buys more Bitcoin. Profits, pulls equity, buys more Bitcoin. Just like he said, that's how real estate became some of the richest people in the world, is because in Manhattan, this is what he said, you got a big building. They're like, let's build up. They built the building. It appreciated. They took equity, bought another building, took equity, bought it. And then all of a sudden they're billionaires, right? Why would you pull out of an asset that only 21 million people or 21 million Bitcoin exists? 94% of the supply is gone. 80% of the supply hasn't moved. So that tells you something. That means big money's holding it as a store of value, not as a currency. 6% supply is left. So that's the gold. That's our gold side, right? And then XRP, I believe, is going to leave a dent in the universe. They've said that, and I completely agree and completely believe. Number one, they have the greatest CEO of all time. The guy is stoic. Stoicism is extremely important. Think about Gary Gensler and Brad Garlinghouse. Like, let's just talk rational. You look at these two. Gary Gensler, shaky when he talks, nervous. And then you got Brad Garlinghouse, stoic, just crushing the SEC. Think about that for just a moment. They knew this wasn't correct. He didn't lose his cool. They just stayed focused. They actually built a monster company, continued to build a monster company all over the world while this was going on. Then they beat the SEC. It's like, okay, cool. We just keep moving. It's like a bump in the road. And Gary Gensler's, and the next thing you know, he has to quit because his destruction of the cryptocurrency ecosystem didn't work. Stoicism is extremely important. So I'm not just investing in a token or pre-IPO the company Ripple. I'm investing in a leadership team that can lead this into the future. Okay. So then I have many other cryptocurrencies as well. But my point behind this, I want to help you understand fundamentals. The things that I own are long-term with a short-term strategy within the bull run. Okay. Bull run number one, you're learning, you're early, you're learning. Okay. You're not trying to get rich quick. Bull run number two, wealth. Bull run number three, generational wealth. We have a long time ahead of us, guys. We have a short-term horizon. Like, people are going to be saying, mark my word, people are going to be saying, I got to buy XRP at $7. Wow, I got to buy XRP at $100 in the future, way in the future, right? People are going to be saying, I bought Bitcoin at $250,000 when it's worth 2.8 million. I bought XRP, average of 17 cents. I'm like, mind blowing. You know why? Because when the case dropped, I was like, something ain't right here, man. I'm just using logic. Logically, this doesn't make any sense at all. One of the most well-run crypto companies in the world, when Ethereum got a pass, Bitcoin is on the CFTC website, and then Jay Clayton leaves to go consult for a cryptocurrency firm that increased their position in Bitcoin and Ethereum 2 months earlier. Something's fishy. Jay Clayton is on the bank bail-in committee for the FDIC. Oh, that's not fishy. That's what we're doing here. We're speculating. But we're doing a good job because we're using logic. We're taking our emotions out of this. When it goes up, sell on the way up. When it goes down, celebrate and buy more. And stay calm. Get your shit together. Get disciplined. Okay? That's what you should be working on. This is all about taking sovereignty of our wealth. It's the greatest time in human history. So I love you guys. I appreciate you so, so much. Hope this information reaches you well. Huge warning, as I said in the beginning of the video, I will never proactively DM you. I'll never ask about your crypto. I'll never ask you to send me money, your crypto, ever. We don't have a crypto trading platform. We don't trade people's cryptos. Those are scammers that are using my likeness image. No influencer is going to reach out to you. There's tons of scammers that use our faces, and Brad Garlinghouse isn't going to reach out to you. You don't send someone your crypto, they're going to give you crypto back. Those are all scams. Don't send your crypto to anybody. Don't send it to anybody. That'll keep you out of trouble. Don't send it to anybody unless you know them personally. Number two, QFS accounts are a scam. You don't need a QFS account, some special secret account. You don't need that. Okay. Protect your wealth at all costs. What I do have for you is resources. First resource is in this YouTube channel. There's an education section, tons of free education. We're going to have tons of videos, more videos coming out. Number two is I get tons of messages on how I like to protect my money. Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, follow rule number one, Warren Buffett. Okay. I use cash value life insurance. My family is overinsured, I protect my family and I insure my money by using cash value life insurance. If you want to learn about my strategies and what I do, but what's more importantly is what you do, because what I do may not work for you. So we do what's called as a retirement strategy to see what works for you. So you fill out the needs assessment. That's specifically for my insurance team. Okay, fill that out. They will call you, text you, and email you. Okay, very important. You'll never send them money directly. Okay. Number 2 is my Coach JV Academy, which will be in this description of this video on my social media platform. I've helped 9,000 people get their shit together. Live calls, Q&A calls, market calls. We have my 120-day challenge that has changed 9,000 people's lives. Get in the tribe, get in the vibe, and let's kick some ass together. I'll see you on the inside. Warriors, let's get your shit together. Let's go.